But I have to apologize. By the time you will have this session, I will be flying back to Barcelona. So, and then I will just record this presentation for you. And in the next 50 minutes, I would like to share with you some aspects, key aspects on the implementation of AI based on the experience that we had in our institution in the last 5 years. Why now artificial intelligence? So there are many factors why that we are exploding in the interest of applying these solutions to the healthcare. First of all, because the cultural social acceptance of the use of computers. We are having fast CPUs and GPUs that comes from the video gaming with a high quality in terms of and velocity in terms of processing, image processing. We have image quality. We have digital information, and we have also aggregate information that we get included in this algorithm development. And this is clear for me and for the managers and for the politicians that if we want to make the healthcare sustainable, we have to apply IT solutions. There is no other way to apply this kind of technologies. We have had a long growth in terms of use of IT in the health systems, in terms of human programming. Now we are in the area of using what is called narrow artificial intelligence. That means that with a concrete problem, we create an algorithm to have a concrete solution, a concrete answer for this problem. And now we are starting to see the power of the utilization of general artificial intelligence in our field and many others. I will, at the end of the session, I will show you some recommendations that will be very interesting and challenging for all of us. As I said, there is an explosion of papers, solutions, algorithms in the last years. We are close to 5,000 publications on artificial intelligence in medical imaging, difficult to manage. But it's not only the number of publications that are coming up in different journals of different kinds. We are having a huge amount of solutions that are offered to us almost weekly. I used to say that several of these solutions are looking for a problem that we don't have. So the way that we can just understand these solutions, as you say here, that's only a few of them, how to implement these solutions in our daily practice, how to demonstrate that they are useful, is not that easy. In terms of solutions of artificial intelligence, we used to think always and only about the ones related with the detection of disease or classification, and even to the providing us parts of the report or the full report on a specific examination. But you have to know that we have already solutions in when deciding which will be the most appropriate examination for a concrete clinical problem. And here we have the ESRI guide solution. I have no time to go deep into the detail, but it can help to the referring physicians in order to decide the best solution. During the examination, there are a lot of protocols that can help on having this examination more productive, more rapidly, and more efficient. In terms of visualization, detection, and classification, we have plenty of CAD and CADD CAD systems that we are using in the daily practice. And as I told you, in the terms of the report, we are having also solutions, and even with the communication of the results with the clinician and with the patient, we can use solutions of artificial intelligence. Being a bit more concrete about the use of deep learning applications for medical imaging and opportunities, in terms of acquiring the images themselves of reconstructions, as I said, in the main modalities, in the MR or the CT, we have already solutions there that helps us. At the level of the perception, all of us who have been trained not to detect disease, I think this will no longer be a necessity because the machines will do better than we are used to do. In terms of image enhancement, semantic image interpretation, quantification and imaging biomarkers, and emerging field, detection of the disease, which is very useful, as I will show you some an example of this, and what is starting to have in terms of helping us as radiologists or doctors in diagnosis and especially in prediction of the evolution of diseases. This is an example of a company that works very close together with us in terms of detecting the disease, but not only detecting and segmenting automatically the disease. It is one of the contests that some organizations like ours used to do every year, that provides a database, and then for the systems without any kind of human interaction are able to detect disease or not. Here is several MR with a disease in there, where the green is the degree of disease, the blue code pixels are the overexposed, and the red ones are the underestimated. As you can see, the match is almost perfect of this kind of tools that can identify disease even much better than we can. We made an interesting experiment at our department. Here we see a CT scan without contrast with a patient with a stroke. Here we have observer 1, observer 2, and observer 3, 3 radiologists, young radiologists, and the gold standard of the proof of where the disease is on the perfusion. As you can see, the performance is very poor. Observer 2, 1, 2, and 3, they're completely different approaches in order to detect diseases. Applying these algorithms of deep learning, we can have not just where is the disease in terms of acute ischemia, we can identify chronic ischemia, and more importantly, we can even identify where the blood clot is in order to planify the intervention if needed. And having data from the patient, we can also have a kind of rank of the chances of good outcome for this specific patient after the treatment. Very challenging is the approach of the autonomous use of artificial intelligence solutions. Since now we are mostly using systems that needs human supervision and final approval by, in our case, by the radiologist. But there are some tools like this one, that Oxipit, that had the clearance of the FDA, that analyzes the chest X-ray with a very extremely low level of false negative. When there is no fighting, they generate an autonomous report, and they can just take it out from our work list. If there's a suspicion, then we can send it to the radiologist and it's reported as usual. You can imagine the use of these tools, the number of examinations, routine examinations, that they make us much more productive. I can imagine, for instance, in screening of breast cancer screening, where more than 90% of the examinations or the mammograms in these environments are normal. If we have a tool that has a low level, close to 0 false negative, using these tools, just providing an immediate report on the normal ones and keeping the ones that get suspicious of disease to be analyzed by a radiologist. But this is not all heaven. Of all of the solutions, see this paper published quite recently, analyzing more than 500 published studies, and only 6%, 31 studies, were performing an external validation of these tools. And none of them, they have let's say reliable design in terms of diagnostic core, including multiple institutions, because we have demo studies not just working in one, and a perspective of data collection for external validation. So the key thing of validation is and will be even more important. In terms of implementation of the solutions, I strongly recommend this paper published in European Radiology 3 years ago, and where you can have all of the hits and tips and tricks in order to understand what you have to analyze before buy or not to buy, and evaluate, especially evaluating commercial solutions in AI in radiology that were called the ECLAIR guidelines. I strongly recommend to go through this paper that is extremely helpful in order to have an standardized and organized approach to the analyzing the different AI solutions existing in the market. Just as an example, top questions to consider, you can just find it more detailed in the paper. What problem applications they need to solve? Which are the potential benefits? Has the algorithm been independently validated? How the application be integrated in the clinical workflow? This is extremely important. This solution has to be interoperable with existing software, cannot work just alone. IT infrastructure requirements, for medical device and personal data protection, return of investment. This is also very important to make the cases in front of the chief financial officers. How the user training and follow-up is handled, and the potential malfunctions and errors. We have an experience with a company called ADO based in Israel, and that is very interesting approach of the use in the daily practice of the artificial intelligence solutions. So the system works in the background. So when we have the studies previously analyzed, we have the flag in our work list, and it is notified directly in the workflow. So the radiologist has to do nothing in order to call the artificial intelligence solution. It is immediately, you have it in your work list, and is analyzed automatically in the PACS. Just showing some numbers of the results of this application, that with 3 modules, intracranial hemorrhage, pulmonary embolism, and incidental pulmonary embolism. Here we have the number of examination studies we used for this preliminary evaluation. The number of cases that we get for some findings that change the way that we perform the report. The number of users at this point in time, and this is extremely important, the user engagement. We have many solutions in the department that are not used because they are not perfectly integrated in the workflow. The other settings that could be very important, very interesting, and there has not to be sophisticated. This is coming from the Netherlands, a solution that artificial intelligence that can analyze suspicion for tuberculosis in low and medium income countries, which is extremely useful, especially for in countries that have not even radiology, even technologies to run this solution. I strongly recommend to have a look more deep in this kind of projects. There are many. So, what we are supposed to do to convince other partners in the hospital and other players, and this is very interesting. The courtesy of Professor Eric Ranjara, that has provided me this proposal coming from the Chat GPT for Betal and NASCO, and we'll show you the solution, the strategy that was made by Chat GPT that makes a lot of sense. Show them the evidence to the partners we want to try to convince, address their concerns about safety, for instance, on AI, highlight the benefits, provide training and support, show them the future that is used already in the medical field and how to continue to play an increasingly important role in the future, share examples of successful implementation, show the financial benefits, and encourage participation in pilot projects. I have to say that I cannot think to do it better than the ChatGPT in this case. I won't just extrapolate that ChatGPT will be that perfect in other fields. An important thing to remind that artificial intelligence, and this is an article published in Nature, the question is not to compare a machine with a human, a deep learning application with a human. The question is to compare a radiologist using artificial intelligence with those not using, or doctor using and not using. And this is the way that we have to proceed in order to compare the performance of these solutions. So, in summary, I just put it here in 10 years that we probably no medical imaging will be with biology before it has pre-analyzed by a machine. I think it's much less than 10 years, would be maybe 5 years. Artificial intelligence will replace us in quantification. That this will increase our productivity. And this improvement in efficiency provided by AI is less needed will be resolving less need for radiologists, but facing the huge amount of examination you have to deal with, I think this is not, in reality, this is not a problem in the current days. What I'm proposing here is more than have just the human versus the machine, to have this centaur effect. The machine combined with computer intelligence, I'm convinced that will be the future. So thank you very much for your kind attention. You have my data contacts. I will be happy to answer offline any kind of questions. Have a nice day.